Welcome back. In this part, we are going to discuss about equity-based fundraising. Again, you are with respect to a blue field or green field or brown field. Uh, Equity-based fundraising predominantly gets into two categories. One is strategic, and another one is tactical. In case if it is strategic, what happens is that the incoming investor, the new investment or the new incoming investor would be interested in helping you grow in terms of your product or services strategically, which means it is going to be for long term, and he wants to be with the board as well as on an executive level. He may have his personal involved in your operations, and it is going to be definitely a longer time scale. On the other hand, if it is a tactical one, then maybe it is short term, like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years kind of a thing. I just pump in the money and I expect some return, and once I get the return I go out. So I sell it to somebody else or I return back to you. Okay, to the you meaning to the company or to the founder or the other entrepreneurs or to some other board members or shareholders. Okay, and the catch here is that if they are not getting the expected results in this in between period of either strategic or tactical in both the cases, then there is a catch. So there is a risk involved, and the whole thing will can be this way or that way. It can go any which way actually. So there is a risk involved in that case, and in either of the case, now whether it's strategic or this, suppose now you invest, now say $100,000 or 1 lakh rupees. So what happens is that now you need to get the money back over a period of 3 years. So you need to get the money you invested. Plus, you also need to get something on top of that. It is generally called as return of investment and return on investment. That is the essence. So return on investment can be through a dividend, or it can be mostly in this case in the equity based, it is dividend only. So the expectation is that you give me a dividend, and also you will pay back now my original money which I gave you. So the sum of this should be, so return of capital should be as such, whatever the money that was given, that is 1 lakh rupees or $100,000, plus in dividend how much you are going to pay them back, pay the investor, the new investor back. That question is again subjected to discussion between the incoming party and the existing party, and that has to be clearly articulated in the shareholding agreement. Then value of the equity has to be ascertained, because this is a concept called pre-money and post-money. Sorry about that. Before the money came in, what was the value of the company? And once the money gets into the company, what is the new value of the company the moment the money is brought into the system? So which means that the share value of the share changes. Either you may increase the number of shares, or increase the value of the share. In whichever scenario, the value of the share will change, and the number of shares will also change. So there are mechanisms by which they handle these scenarios. Suppose somebody is trying to invest another $200,000 or 2 lakh rupees, then you may issue the share at a base price, because you can't jack up the book value of the company from X to Y, which is 3 times or 5 times now overnight. So the every company across the globe, every company is treated as a going concern, which means that today you are your value, or value of the company is A. Tomorrow it is a plus something, a plus say 1. Then it can be next day it can be a plus 2. Okay, but it cannot be like this. Today it is a, and tomorrow it is a plus 10, and then the next day it becomes a plus 2000. Then after some time suddenly it drops to a minus 5. Then somebody pumps in, it becomes a plus 3000. Like that, these ups and downs easily people can track. Okay, authorities can track as well, and your shareholders can track. So this is not acceptable. So as a going concern, you need to steadily go up, and in case if there is a problem and you are going to have a fall, then it has to also come down steadily. So you need to have all the resistance at an appropriate place whenever you go up. So from that perspective, when the money is brought in, you need to ascertain what is the pre-money value and post-money value, and that has to be consistent with the company's growth. That is the essence. Every time it pings back to the company's purpose and the growth or the rate of growth. It's called PEG, in some ratios, price earning, price equity growth or something like that. I don't actually remember that word. It says a PE growth, okay, price earning ratios growth. Okay, actually it is that way. So there, because you are going to pump in money, the money has to be legal enough, and it should not be from a laundered money. So all that checks, you need to do that. Then sometimes you may have to notify your central bank. In India it is Reserve Bank of India. In different countries, the central banks are clearly defined and that need to be notified about that particular transaction, particularly from a foreign entity or a foreign person. And sometimes it is required that a board resolution needs to be in place before you acquire, and while you acquired, and maybe post that, maybe to confirm that the transaction is complete. So which include the issuance of shares to the incoming person, which requires some statutory compliance with the ministries and the central banks. And once they come in, maybe after, even if it is a strategic investor, he may not be with you for long. Maybe after 5 years, 10 years, he may like to have an exit. So generally the terminology is called exit options. And they sometimes what happens is that the company does so poorly that the new company, the new equity holder will try to take more shares from the original stakeholder. So the exit option can be for the original guy. But on the other hand, if the company is doing well, the original founder or entrepreneur or the shareholder can say that the new equity stakeholder has to exit, like this. So the exit can be like selling it to somebody or giving it back to the company or to the founder himself. So that is also a possible. But for all these things to work in meticulously, correctly, you need to have, now as we discussed in the earlier video, you need to have properly defined projections in terms of sales projections, cost projections, which means that you need to have a clear cash flow for that 3 to 5 year period, which obviously I mean, you need to assume that there are a lot of assumptions you need to make as part of the cash flow statements, and that assumption should be again in consistent with your purpose of the company and as per the law. So if you are able to make the list of assumptions, then appropriately you make the cash flow statement, then it is slightly easier for you to make a P&L for every year, as well as the balance sheet for every year as a forecast or a simulated one. And end of the day, you will come up with the company valuations at the start and the post money where your company stands. So these are all some of the points which I thought I'll share with you with respect to equity based funding, and we will see the other things in the other videos. Thank you for watching. This is Gokul. Cheers.